Hey, good evening, everyone. I think we'll take another 1 minute to kind of get started. Stay online. Folks, we'll start in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, please let me know what do you do, where are you coming from, what excites you about this session. Please share your there in chats. We'll get started in a minute. Sorry, my bad. We'll get started in a minute. Please let me know what you do, where you're coming from, what excites you to about this session. Please share it on the chat. Folks, everyone, please share. It'll help me to understand who are you are, so I can, it's a small sort of group. It's not very large, hence it'll be, we can make it more interactive and make it relevant to your folks. Okay. Yesh from Yesh to career counseling and online business. Okay. Sunil Sharma is from Dubai. I'm from working as an IT manager, digital marketing from Upgrade My Cars. So when Manohara. Okay. Okay, mix of them. Awesome. Okay, I don't think I'll wait. I think people will join in the coming time, but I think we'll get started. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this. This is very limited marketing promotions I have done for this. I thought I'll get the people who are really interested and take inputs from them in terms of how this webinar. This is one of the webinar which I'm hosting it for the first time, apart from the ones which are mostly done through Growth School or any other upgrade or any other party involved. Hence, I thought I'll keep it a very limited number of folks. And please do share the feedback. Please do actively participate on chat. I'll happy to take the questions. Um, yeah, so we'll get started with this. Okay. Great. So I hope you can all hear me, see my screen very well. Let me know in chat. Perfect. Awesome. So, folks, I work at RacerPay. I currently work as a racer in RacerPay at Director Marketing. Takes care of growth marketing and paid marketing. Have about 12 years of experience in digital marketing, predominantly from paid organic marketing and some sort of growth marketing. Previously to Razorpay, I was with Swiggy. There about 5 years, and then previous to that, I was with an agency called Ogilvy, and and previous to that, I was with an e-com firm based out in US at called KSD. I've also got opportunity to work with multiple brands as part of consultant. Some of that are yoga bars, etc. What got an opportunity to work with Swiggy and build their digital marketing team, the first digital marketing team that helped Swiggy to scale 100x, 1000x of acquisitions. So that's about me, and these are some of the brands that I got opportunity to work with, which I'll some of these learnings which I'll talk and walk you through it today. Cool. So let's get into a question to start with. How important is search ads in your overall digital marketing strategy? Either you're running a company or maybe you're working for someone else or have done something in the past. How have you seen search as your search fits into a marketing strategy, please type in your answers in chat. Is it not at all important, somewhat important, or very important, or is it critical to your success of your business? Let me know your thoughts on this. Okay, most of them are saying D. Absolutely, we have relevant TG here. Like everyone understands the criticality of search in any business. Perfect. Thanks so much. We'll get started, right? So today, what I'm going to cover is there are six topics I'll cover, and this starts from how to set up a Google Ads account, which I'll spend a little less time. I'm sure most of you are aware of this. And then we'll get into how to identify the keywords for your business or the business that you are managing, and as well as how to manage match type, keyword match types, what to use, when to use, how to use, how to find a budget, how to set a budget for your Google Ads campaign, what is the right budget, are there any mechanisms or are there any planning that I can help you with, is what I'll walk you through and set your budget. Also, once you set your budget, how you also track your sales, how to set up tracking and how to measure your conversions in terms of sales, leads, ROIs, etc. And what bidding we should use, what are the different types of bidding, and in an initial set of campaigns, when you start off something, what kind of biddings you should use is also something that I will cover up. How to and last not but least, how to also develop compelling copies or the right ad copies or the best practices that required for search ads, along with some of the landing page best practices. So this is what you're going to learn today, and please let me know in chat if there are any specific topic which you want me to double click on or go a little deeper on. Happy to talk about it. Perfect. Now let's move to some insights. That's just to give you an insights, like about 40K Google searches in every second in India. There are about 3 lakh Google Ads account in India. Those are active Google Ads accounts in India who was actively managed. 90% of the Google searches are from mobile. Google searches are happening on mobile in India, and about more than 90% of the users use search as a medium to kind of decide on their shopping journey. And this leaves us no doubt on has to be one of the core channel that to be part of your media planning. Yeah. Cool. Let's get move to how to set up your Google search accounts, right? I don't think writing anything about make no sense. So I thought I'll just quickly walk you through. I'm sure I know a lot of them you know about it, but I still do some of them who have a couple of reasons why I wanted to include this, because there are a couple of nuances which generally people miss out. Hence, I thought I'll cover this topic. So let's get started. I will show this tab for how to create an account, right? So primarily you should have a Gmail account, and you know help with a business name to Google, like what is the business name that you are running, and that will help you to create an card account. And you need to put some website. I'm writing down a website called Yoga Bars. Oh, sorry, just give me a second. Yes. Yeah. So you go next. So you will get a lot more options. So the Google Ads been designed in the beginning to make it very, like, there are two types of mode that Google Ads provide. One is the expert mode and the smart mode. So people who are not really well aware of how to use the Google AdWords, they can use smart mode. So anything that you continue with here by clicking, I need to get more calls or get more website leads, anything, if you click and continue, it becomes a smart mode. So you don't need to know a lot about Google Ads to set up a smart campaign. But but if you want to play around a little bit with how to do a lot more targeting, what settings I can do, read a little bit more, and then build a good, great campaign, then I would suggest you to move to this expert mode. There is something called expert mode here. The export mode will help you to take to the entire UI. So the other, if you go to smart mode, it will make you to fill in all the details and get added the payment method. So if you want to play around with the Google Ads and learn more about it to set up a proper campaign, then I suggest you to go with the expert mode. Right. Once you are in expert mode, it will open up the entire UI, and it will also prompt you to kind of go ahead with which campaign to run, etc. Once you have kind of selected, for example, if I select sales as an objective which I want to collect, and then if I select search as a campaign which I want to run, it'll ask you where do you want to get land the users to. So I'll select the website and I put yogabuzz.in and do a continue. Uh, so I'll not spend a lot of time on which I'll cover in later stages. But a lot of details need to be clear, fill in terms of setting up a campaign. You can just put some number and save and continue. So basically, end of the day, it will ask you to once you have set up a dummy campaign, it will to get taken to the real UI. It will ask you to set up your billing in this final section called billing. In billing today, it doesn't take any prepaid cards because of RBI guidelines. So you will have to manage with your manual payment, basically adding the money in. I'll have to. It doesn't work on recurring payments. It always work on prepaid. So you have to pay the money in advance for the first time or first few times, and then when you are eligible for invoicing, you can move to invoicing. Uh, I don't think it will let me allow unless I add really all the details. But two things to keep in mind. One is please choose smart mode and try to ensure that you are selecting the right details in your payment thing so that it will help you to, for example, the billing country should be India. For which country that you are running ads is important. Also the time zone, because all your reporting and everything will also start impacting. If there are any promotional codes, there will be, please apply that so that you'll get around, I think there are around 20k 20k worth of promotional code is also running in Google Ads, so please make use of that. And please add your debit card or credit card to make the prepayment. And that's about it. You are Once you're done with the summit of billing, you will be ready to go to the UI, which you can set up the first campaign. So just going back to a presentation, something few key things to note down is, um, so when you're creating an account, please ensure you have a Gmail account. Get started with Google Ads sign in. There is smart mode and export mode. Smart mode is only for someone who doesn't really know anything about Google Ads and getting started with just want to take one campaign live. Then smart mode makes a lot of sense. But choose export mode so that you can set up the campaigns, you can experience and set up a proper campaign. Please ensure the right country and currency and set up the payment. You'll have to pay in prepaid for the first few times and use any promotional code applicable for you. So that's the way you set up the Google search account. It's pretty simple. I don't think I have to spend a lot of time on here. Moving on, now it's an interesting thing, right? Like once you have the Google Ads account, how do I find my keywords uh, to start with, right? And what kind of match types I use. So even before you get into any sort of keywords, I think the primary question that everyone should ask is, what is my TG? Who's my TG, right? Be it a business owner or be it a digital marketing manager that manages another business, try to define your target audience very well in the first place. That is the only thing that will take us to finding the right keywords, right? Quickly checking, are there any chats? No. Right. So I'm here and taking again an example of yoga bars. It's a category into healthy snack bars, right? Like very limited information I've provided here, but try to write down as much as possible in terms of who is your customer persona, what is your demography look like, who are my customers, right? If you start writing down very well on this, it'll help you to help you to visualize who is my customer. That gives us an input to build your rest of the planning. So, for example, in yoga bar, it is a very tier one phenomena or a metro phenomena. At least in the beginning of the business, were 18 to 45 working class professionals who is very focused on health, also who is very heavy on sports and athletics, who go on, who hit the gym every day, who kind of work out every day, need some sort of a protein snack bar supplement, who or people who actually skip the breakfast, right? All of them requires this healthy snack bar, right? So my TG is into very young age. While I still put it as 18 to 45, it is within the range of 18 to 30 folks, and within the metro and tier one cities, right? If with this understanding, now let's move on to, when I have this understanding, then I can think of what kind of keywords these folks will start searching for, right? To that, like searching for to find my business or to show my business. So to find the keywords, first you define your targeting or target audience, and the second part is to define your keyword types. Right. Once you have an understanding of a target audience, start writing down the different type of keyword types that you can go after. Keyword types are something like brand, commercial, competition, etc. So I'll explain this, right? Whenever you do keyword research, you have to first start with the seed keywords, right? As per your understanding of your target audience, as per your understanding of some of the keywords that this is what my customer looking for. Please start writing that down, right? Now the brand is nothing, it is your own brand, right? Yoga bar is my brand term which a customer would be searching for. So when you're a new business, this will be very small in terms of number of searches that will happening, but still this will be the much very high intent, high converting keyword, because someone who already know your brand will convert first for you than anything else, right? So start segregating by brand, on brand, etc. uh, After brand, you can think of all the generic keywords, or we call it as commercial keywords. All commercial keywords are nothing, these are high intent keyword, very very specific, relevant to my business, can give me a sales or a leads or a add to cart, for example, right? uh, so these are called commercial keywords. So in the context of yoga bars, someone who is searching for buy healthy snack bar is the very very tight high intent health conversion led keyword, and which can be used as a seed keyword for commercial set of keywords, right? So the second part is a commercial set of keywords which I really want to build my set of keywords under commercial, because these are high converting. Now you also want to do a lot of bit of competition study and understand what are my who are my competitions, what are my competition keywords looks like, what kind of keywords they also put it in their website. Use that to build a competition led keyword list, right? Now largely, someone who start a business has to be deal with your commercial and competition. Brand also comes a little later in the stages, because it's very new, right? So commercial, so you under commercial itself, for example, in terms of yoga bars, it has about 1000 to 2000 keywords that been spanned out, but I can think of only a five or six, right? So think of those five or six keywords and start inputting in your Excel sheet, which will help you to will help act as a seed keywords, which you can use it in your keyword planner to find more and more keywords, right? The fourth and fifth, like, is more of slightly scaling up or slightly different from the core or core keywords, right? Which, for example, I've mentioned sports and athletics exercises. Someone who's looking for a protein powder, someone is looking for a very fiber rich food for your gym and yoga type, right? These are still have some intent or a mid, like a slightly medium intent to the product that I'm selling, but may not be looking at exactly the same, right? So these kind of keywords also can be developed in the initial stages, but can be launched a little later. The first set of keywords has to be always the commercial keywords and competition keywords to go after, and start introducing a brand to get that transaction right and right away, and then introduce brand and other proxy or surrogate kind of keywords which make sense for your business at later stages. right? So these are the first two stages of identifying your keywords, and we will go to the third part. And once you have the keyword, uh, so there's a question about when will you buy for nearby keywords, health, food, how to cook odds, nearby keywords. See, Ash, these will get started depends upon like if you have already like if your depends upon your objective. If your objective is already to acquire users, right? This may not be the immediate step to go after because it will be costlier as a metric than the core commercial keywords, right? It depends upon what stage of your business and if you're already maxed out in your category. So there are categories in which their uh, core keywords itself is missing. You might be the new company work building the category. At that time, these kind of keywords make sense to get started versus the other side, right? Cool. Moving back, keyword. So use this keyword seed keywords to get started with your finding more keywords. So I'll also show you quickly about how to go about and do that. Right, I hope you can see my screen on Google AdWords. You go to tools and settings under Google AdWords, and you'll find something called Keyword Planner. Under Keyword Planner, um, you will be able to open up Keyword Planner. There will be two options. One is discover your keywords, new keywords, as well as find more search volumes. So you will have to use discover your new keywords. Under discover your new keywords, for example, we mentioned buy healthy snack bar, right? So you use this such keywords to kind of build more and more keywords, right? Go and try and see what location you want to use. Do you want to use the entire India, or you want to use certain uh, cities to like if you want to get started with only metro, maybe you just put only metro so it doesn't get started. Try to also put your uh, uh, website address so that it'll try to give more relevant keywords, right? And once you click on the get started, it'll give you a list of keywords that uh, not just the buy health snack bar, it also gives you a lot more other keywords in that category. For this keyword, it's I don't can't find. I don't know why. One second, I'll try and add another one. Yeah. So you see snack bar has about 2,400 average monthly searches, and also give me a lot more other keywords which are relevant to snack bar, for example, protein bar, cereal bar, homemade granola bars, etc. So start downloading these data and don't miss out taking the average monthly search volumes as well as the estimated CPCs of both low range and high range. This will help you to start building the right budget for your keywords. So download these keywords. So this is not just a one-time exercise. You will have to do this about maybe a 50 times, 100 times to use your seed keywords to build your right set of keywords. And once you have arranged the keywords into the way I discussed in terms of segregating into different parts, then uh, you will have to add and delete a lot of keywords basis what it is suggesting. It doesn't give you the right one always. It will give you exhausted list, but do use the search mechanism to find the relevant keywords and keep adding and deleting and making it relevant for you. But at the same time, keep the average monthly searches and estimated CPCs to build your budget. Try not to include a lot of keywords which are below less than 10. uh, However, even if there is a zero search volume, but if you feel it is very high intent as a keyword, if itself, for example, there is a 14 bar keyword, if it is less than 10 search volumes, but if you still think that that is a relevant keyword, I think you should include. But you need to keep a close watch on it because this is high intent keyword. Even if there are 10 searches happening, that might convert for you, right? So it's a very tricky question. I don't have a good, I mean, I would say if you're keeping it and not keeping it have both have problems, but I still ask you to keep it and keep a close watch on it when you run the ads. Okay, and once you have these keywords, uh, put in, I mean, segregate these keywords into put into one place, and which we can start using it to build the campaign. Like I mentioned, you keep the monthly search volume and estimated CPC to build the budget. Once you have this, keep this aside, this set of keywords. Now I'll talk about, I mean, you will have to use these keywords to kind of create new campaigns. But when you're creating new campaigns, this keyword needs to also have a match type that needs to go along with it to run your campaign, to trigger for the right set of search terms, right? These are still keywords, right? So you have to use a particular type of match type that makes sense for your business goals, right? So there are totally three different types of match types. There is exact match, phrase match, and broad match. I'll walk you through what are these three things and what does it mean by. Um, and someone who has already has an understanding, it has also changed in the recent times. So pay attention if you have not really updated in the last couple of years. There are three types of match type: broad, phrase, and exact. Broad means it's very broad. Like if you keep a keyword called lawn aeration traces, it will try and when somebody search for such keyword, it will try and show ad for any variation of such keywords, right? uh, if anything anything narrowly related to that keyword, it will start showing. So it has very very less control over what whom do I show the ads. Anyone searching for lawn will show the ad, anyone searching for lawn nearby will show the ad, or any nearby meaning will also show the ad, not necessarily to be the prices or anything to do with the lawn, right? So broad match is very something to do always to do with visibility, create a lot more visibility, very less, very like not many advertisers use broad match unless you have a very different objective that you are chasing on search today, which is largely done through display medium in terms of creating awareness. So broad is something not very recommended to use unless we have a very different objective of creating visibility. Versus exact match is something, someone who's searching for grass cutting services, it try to show the ad which are very similar or very relevant to that particular keyword. Obviously it showed to that same keyword, but it'll also show to slightly different keywords as well, but which has a very very exact meaning to it. So the difference in earlier the match types are very specific to the keyword itself. For example, when you put a exact match keyword of grass cutting service, it will not show add anything other than grass cutting services. But today it's not only that, it also show to similar, if there is another keyword term which has the same meaning, it will show the ad for that, right? So please have this understanding. Exact doesn't mean that it's exact, it is very closely tied, but it will show the ad to the very exact type of keywords, right? Phrase match is all something that is between each of them. um, like very moderate matching. If exact is 90 percentage accuracy to that keyword, phrase would be somewhere around 60-70 percentage accuracy. So multiple combination of keywords can be triggered. If somebody is searching for grass cutting services, if grass cutting service is your keyword, someone searching for grass services will show, someone searches for hire company for lawn will show, all of that will show, right? Because it's closely related in terms of meaning, and also different combinations of same keyword is also present there, right? So phrase and exact has still have much better control on whom do you want to show at, versus broad has very less control, right? So someone who's starting a business, I would suggest to start with exact keywords, because exact keywords has much better control over what you do. And once you have enough learnings on from exact match keyword, then you can move to phrase match, because exact match won't really give you scale after a point in time. Because if your category itself is about 200 300 keywords, if you want to go about and bid on thousands and 2000 keywords which you don't really have good idea in terms of combinations, then exact match won't let you do that, right? So exact match is so good to start with for the first few months. But when you want to start scaling up your campaigns and also wanted to get more conversions, you'll have to start using phrase match to build it. And the last one is the negative keywords. Whenever you start running campaigns, you will get to see a lot of keywords which are irrelevant for you. So you should start negating these keywords so that you don't waste the money on them. so it becomes your it's better efficiency and better ROIs for you. Okay, so now the obvious question, right, that anyone asks, if you're managing, if you're a business owner or if you're a digital marketing manager that working in a business, like what's the budget? Like what is the right budget? What, how much you have to spend? Why are you saying this budget and all of that, right? Or even a business owner that keeps questioning me is, why is this budget? Why I need to run 1 lakh? Why I need to run 20,000? Where is it coming from, right? So that's what we are trying to understand. How can I arrive on a budget while okay, before you get into that, there's some question which I want to let people answer you to answer. Like, how much of your marketing budget do you allocate to search advertising today? Is that less than 10 percentage, or 10 to 24 percentage, or 25 to 50, or over and above 50? Okay, less than 10, 25 to 50. Okay, most of them sits between A and B. Some of them are C. Okay, interesting. Okay. Cool. So I think then there is definitely merit in deep diving into this particular topic, because I believe it has to be, and again, it depends upon, you can't define that. It depends upon what is the search volume exist. But if search volume exists, it has to be obviously C. At least 25 to 50 percentage needs to be your. If you are a new business, it has to be between C and D. Okay, but I'll try to explain how does that work, right? Um, so to arrive any budget, some of the steps that you need to keep in mind is, uh, have a very clear concrete understanding of your goal that you are chasing. Am I going to drive sales? Am I going to live leads, or is it just traffic, or is this a subscription of newsletter? Because it's all depends upon that, because it when the moment you define the goal, it will also impact the kind of keywords that you're looking at, and it'll also impact your the volume of keywords that will get out of it versus what is competition, what is the skill that you're looking at. All of that will impact. So define your goal very well, which will help you to identify what's right, what is the right set of keywords, and how many number of sales that I am looking at for a month, or how many number of leads that I'm looking at per month, which will help you to say, for example, if you say I want 100 leads or 100 sales in a month, writing that down and keeping that as a goal will later help you to build the right budget. Right, on the second part, look at your search volumes. What are the search volumes of my keywords? If you have, after going through all the keyword research, what is the total search volume of my keywords which are very relevant for me? What is the scale? What is the current scale for me? I'm looking at 100 customers, or I'm looking at 1,000 customers, or I'm looking at something else. What is that I wanted to achieve from it, right? And what is competition doing? Are they already heavy on it, or there is no competition or medium competition? Will help you to decide, okay, if this is very high competition, then my CPC is going to be super high, then that will reflect in my budget. Do I want to invest in such keywords or not, is a question that you can ask yourself, right? And also keep ready with your, when we touched upon this, when you're doing your keyword research, have your estimated CPC, and also have a fair understanding of your estimated CTRs. CTRs is nothing click-through rates. You can read upon the Google. It will give you a lot of ideas in terms of what kind of CTRs that you get in each industry, that can be used to build a budget model for your budgeting. So keep these 3 4 things ready when you to get started with your modeling. But I'll walk you through the modeling in the next slide. But just to give a heads up, right? Again, any model doesn't give you this is the budget. It is not something that is set in the stone, saying that for this industry, for this kind of search volume, this is the budget. Nowhere it is written. It is an arrived one, but you need to keep on testing and measuring it, and to arrive the right budget for you, and right scale for you. One method that I always suggest to business owners who are starting up is, keep it an affordable and competitive method, right? What is affordable to you? What is that you are okay to spend money? What is that you're okay to get returns out of it? Keep that budget, keep it flexible to that to start with. While there is always a model to give you a visualization of what is the right scale available. Keep an affordable and a competitive method. competitive method in the sense you also look at your competition and see what they are spending. You get a fair idea from the keyword planner itself. Also, you get a fair idea from the tools like SimilarWeb, SEMrush, etc., where what kind of budget they are spending. Have used this to find a affordable budget that makes sense for your business than just modeling, right? So that's something you should keep in mind. But I'll walk you through the modeling in the next slide. Okay, I'll take one question. I think it's interesting. Sunil has asked how to decide to run social media ads versus Google Ads, right? Uh, Google Ads, it's not. We're talking if you are talking about Google search ads, like all things which I've talked about so far, Google search ads are the high intent keywords. There are people already. So there was one definition that I always be excited to talk about with all the marketers in out there. Digital marketing is something you are helps you to find your customers, right? Than they coming and finding you through organically or some way. So if there are already customers out there looking for your product and services, and if you know how to capture them through, and if you know that this Google search is going to capture that user, you should first go and start that, right? And once and then you know that okay, these are the set of keywords that is giving you the results, and beyond that my cost per conversion or cost per sales or cost per lead is going beyond than what is affordable to me, start introducing more channels at that time. But the first thing is to get started with your Google ads, because that's the first set of customers that you should be able to acquire, which has 5x better conversion rates than a social media conversion rate. It has far more difficult to establish the conversion rate on social ads versus Google ads in the first few stages of your business. Okay, so I hope that answers, Sunil. I'll move to the next part. So in this part, it's pay attention. This is slightly complicated, but I'll try and make it simplified to you. In sample media planning of search, right, to identify what is the budget that I should spend in a month or in a quarter for my business, right? So, like in the beginning, in one of our initial slides, I talked about keyword categorization, which been into brand, generic, and competition. So generic is nothing. I call it as here. You can refer it as commercial keywords, for example, right? So when you're done with this keyword categorization, when you have done with your keyword research and pull out all the keywords, you'll get to see search volumes, right? So all the areas where I've mentioned inputs are something you get either from keyword planner, or you'll have to pull out the data from some of the Google searches that you are doing, some of the search results, some of the research that you are doing, and all the outputs are the formula driven ones, which will give you an output of what is the right budget, what is the right clicks that I'll get, what is the right revenue that I'll get, or what is the right conversions that I'll get, is the output basis all your assumptions that you've built. Not assumption, some of them are data which you have got it, some of the assumptions need to baked in to give you a right output. So at the end of the output that I'm looking here is what is the budget that I can spend, what is the kind of uh, average cost per conversions or average ROAs I can assume that I can get from this campaign, right? So start with search volume. Search volume you get it from keyword planner. This is nothing average monthly searches happening in a set of keywords by users in a particular geography. So you pull that keyword, you pull that number and put that out and and the next input is add impression share. Add impression share is nothing. If there are 100 users searching for your brand, how many times you want to show the ad, like how, like do you want to show the ad to all the 90, or you want to show the ad only to 50 times? And you can't control that, by the way. It is a function of budget, it is a function of competition, right? Now, so for, if you ask me, brand is something, a keyword that is owned by me, right? And it is very cheap for me to buy that brand keyword. So generally you have to go 100%, but you never get 100%. So assume 90%, right? When it comes to a take an example of yoga bars itself, healthy snack category is heavily competitive these days. So getting anything above a 50% impression share out of 100 searches, getting an impression of 50 itself is super difficult, right? But because it is, we need to go and get conversion, we need to push our budgets to kind of assume that I'll at least get 50 percentage of my impressions that are out in the market, and have that assumption, right? uh, it is very subjective, but think it's something need to think through it. Like, why should I take 50, 60, or a 90, right? For example, in competition is something that you can't own that keywords. It is something be owned by another brand, right? To bid that keyword will be very high cost, right? If your brand keywords are 10 rupee for CPC, your competition would be like 50, 60 rupees to pay every keyword. So getting that impression share would be very difficult. So we'll have to assume a less number there, unless we are ready to spend very high. But or generally, I suggest you start with 15 to 20 percentage impression share for competition. Now, once you have this impression share assumption picked in, then you have to assume certain CTRs. For example, forget about the impression; it's an output. Input is CTR. In CTRs is nothing like what kind of click through rate I'll get. Like, out of 100 people seeing the ad on my brand, what kind of clicks I'll get out of from the 100 impressions, right? Again, on brand will be very high because it is your brand. It is the brand that you own, right? So people tend to click more on your brand versus a transaction or a competition keyword, right? So this is an average industry benchmark along with lot more industries. This number can be utilized for your planning also, but please do your own research to find the right number. But it will still hover around in the same number in terms of 44 brand, for example. Generically, some 10 percentage, it's between 8 to 10 percentage it will, and competition is as low as 5 or less than that, right? And then the other input is a very, very critical input is a CPC. And this CPC, you will get the average CPC you will get from your keyword pool itself, which you are downloaded from your keyword planner. If you do an average CPC calculation, you will get to know what is my average CPC. Please input that over here. So once you're done with all these inputs, basically CPCs, ad impression share, search volumes, you will get a budget. It is a formula driven. I'll share it in the mail with you, this template. Go through it later. All the formulas also been captured there. Please go through it later. But once you put these formulas into it, you will get to know what is the right budget. And you can always play around with this number, but at least you will get a sense of an idea. Okay, if this is my keyword universe, and if I want to go about and capture a certain number of share of my market, and with this particular cost per click that I can ready to pay or is already available in the market, then this is the budget I need to spend. Am I okay to spend, or I do I need to spend then, or should I go lesser than this? Okay. Then in that case, if I have a less than a 2 lakh budget, then maybe I'll capture only 50% of my impression. All of that can be decided when you have this model in place. The second part of the model I will not talk about a lot. It is more of assumption to arrive at what is the kind of conversions and cost per conversions I'll get. But it is self-explanatory. I'll also share this model with you. Go through it. And it has a lot more assumptions. Confidence level will be slightly lower than this other on the left side, because it is completely depends upon your judgment, your understanding of your business, than the first part of the table itself. Any questions on modeling? Okay, cool. We will move on this. Okay, now once you have campaign ready and running, then the obvious question is, why sales not coming? Why the sales not tracking? How can I track my sales? How many sales I've got from AdWords? It's obvious question, right? I think it's a very, very important section is this, because if we miss this section, if you don't implement this properly, then none of things that we talked about in terms of driving conversions or driving leads or anything will not work at all, right? So setting up this is not tracking, this is also optimization, right? If Google doesn't understand which user is converting for you, then Google will not be able to give you the right conversions, right? So setting up tracking and feedback loop mechanism is super important to train the systems or train the campaign to drive the right business outcomes, right? So how to set up tracking for your campaigns that you run, or the search campaigns that you run for your business. So there are two types of conversion tracking. One, you can do directly placing there's something called Google conversion tag, which is nothing. It is a snippet of code or a pixel that you can place it in your website, which will help the Google to track how many conversions, how many website visitors happening. On other side, if you don't want to do Google conversion track, you can, if you have a Google Analytics account already running, then you can create those goals in Google Analytics and import that goals back to Google AdWords, right? So these are the two different mechanisms you can do. Once you're done that, you can also, I'll actually walk you through, like quickly, I'll just show you how does this work in the AdWords. So you go to tools and settings. There's something called conversions here. Go to conversions. So you can create a new conversion here, or I actually talk about, yeah, a new conversion here. So there are different options you will get. It's, do you want to track your conversions on website, app, phone call, versus do you want to import it from Google Analytics? So I'll take an example of website. Website has four different, like multiple different, um, uh, events you can track. It can be sales, traffic, add to cart, leads, any of button click, anything, right? Um, you let the system to scan your website, and then and it'll open up. Once your scanning is done, there are two ways of measuring the conversions. One is, you can automatically, so there are two things, right? One is, in your website itself you would have already defined the events. For example, there will be a button click, there will be a purchase button. So Google can automatically read your website and understand what all actions you can take, right? So that's why it scanned the website. So this is one option automatically which you can select. The second option is to manually setting up the tag on each of your conversions. For example, in your automatic one, I'll select, okay, I want to track purchase. And my track purchase is nothing. Whenever somebody make a payment, a new page will load for me. So that is the page load, and this is my uh, page load URL. Say for example, thank you is the page load URL for me, right? So that becomes my conversion, right? So in that case, once you're done that, it'll automatically just create one conversion called purchase, and you're done with it, right? You just click on save and continue. But when you're done with, you have created a conversion tag over here, but to track, you need this. This is something called a Google tag. When you click on setup, you will basically get a snippet of code, right? A pixel code that you'll get it. You will have to send this to your developer to implement it in all pages of your website. Please note, it has to be implemented in all pages of your website, not just one particular place. And uh, or if it is, or if you're using a WordPress thing, or if you're using a particular CMS, then some of the CMS are already built. For example, Wix, Shopify, and etc. has just have one conversion ID that you have to place over there. It'll automatically track. But if you have a manual website, it has been created by a developer, then you have to place this code over there, right? So there are two different ways of installing this. And once you're done that, click on done. uh, your Once you place the website tag on your website, Google tag on your website, you will start seeing this conversion action over here, and it will start showing how many conversions has been tracked. And this conversion action you can use to, or you use in your campaigns to optimize. Say run a campaign and I want purchases. Use this event which is that I want this campaign to drive me purchases, right? Same way you can define for all other events, say add to cart, subscribe for newsletter, leads, all of that, right? So that's just quickly just helping you to understand that's how the um, website events have been set up. And it can be set up for website or any events on website, any events or app or any phone calls that you want to do. All of that can be done. Like I mentioned, there are two ways to implement it. One is directly on website events, and secondly through manually using the code. For example, if you can't set it up on events, you will have to create a event and then take code and implement that code in each individual pages, which is very complex in nature. but with advanced features, I think website events is easily to implement. So please utilize the website event features to kind of track your conversions. Now, once this is ready, then your Google Ads will start tracking all your conversions, and it'll start reporting you the conversions, as well as it train the systems to optimize your campaigns to drive the right conversions. Um, okay, so there are questions. How important is enhanced conversion? Um, hey, so Smajit, the enhanced conversions are important when you start scaling up your campaign. Uh, is there any tool like Apps Flyer for search ads, or do I have any dependent on Google report itself? So AppsFlyer doesn't report website searches. It reports app search campaign, which is universal app campaigns. It doesn't report normal search campaigns because these are website search campaigns I'm talking about. App search campaigns is not there available. It is called universal app campaigns, which does report. But you have to depend upon your Google Ads for most of your campaigns. But when you have a backend system, something like a Tableau or a Looker system, which has developed, you can use these information to link with those. uh, so there are tools like factors, etc., which is available in the market, which you can use to stitch together all the Google data as well as the backend data in one place to see whole data in one place, right? But for a new business, I highly prefer to start using your uh, AdWords reports as well as your Google Analytics report. Is it mandatory to pass user information onto the thank you page to realize the conversion correctly? Popularly termed as enhanced conversion by Google. It's not enhanced conversion. It is mandated to pass the user information, because if you don't pass these, so you don't have to. Okay, are you user information in terms of email number? No, you don't have to pass email number, and it doesn't ask for that. It automatically, it all you need to pass is the event count, and Google automatically understand who's that user, because you have a cookie in your website, and that cookie will help you understand who are all in what kind of um, a user is this, where is the user coming from, which location, what campaign, what age group, all of that Google understand from the cookie itself. So you don't have to pass email or number, but you have to pass your revenue data or any other parameter which you think which will help you to optimize the campaign. I'll come to the questions later, but I'll quickly move on to the rest of the slides. Okay, so now the next obvious question is how much I should bid. It's not as complicated as that you see in the image, but um, there are basically four types of bidding mechanisms. One is conversion, second is the conversion value, and third is either to drive for clicks or traffic, and the last one is impression share. Conversions are nothing the same thing that we talked about. It can be a purchase, leads, add to cart, anything, any actions that is happening. Um, what are the same thing that we just set it up in our AdWords account is called conversion rate. Any actions that you want to track is called conversions, which can be optimized, called a mechanism called target CPA, a particular target CPA that you can set, which you will get out of it, right? And that is called conversion. Second one is conversion value. Conversion value is nothing. Once you start tracking conversions, you also pass value. So much as this can answer your question, you also pass value along with it. So for example, it can be a revenue, or it's largely revenue. Basically, it's a value. What kind of value that you want to pass? For example, if a purchase of snack bar worth of 200 rupees, you pass that value back to AdWords, so that AdWords can not only optimize for getting a purchase, it also optimizes to get a better purchase. So you can also define that I want a purchase, it's always more than better than 200, right? So you can set that up, like this is the target ROAS I want, return on ad spend I want. So if I say I want 2 ROAS, then every 100 rupee I spent, AdWords will try to give you a purchase that gives me 200 rupees worth of value, right? So that is called conversion value, which can be optimized through an option called target ROAS. The third one is the max CPC, which is nothing. If you are looking to just drive clicks and traffic to your business, not really bothered about conversions or purchase, then this is the optimization that which you can use just to drive traffic. This optimization is also used for many companies to build a lot more top of funnel visibility for your website. And the last one is impression share, where I'm not really worried about what conversion I get or what traffic I get. All I want is I want the people to see my ad, right? So this used to do by uh, very large companies like Amazon, and some sort of deals they run, or some events like large events done by cricket associations or football associations. They run this large impression share campaigns, just want to see the ad, nothing after that, right? So out if there are 100 people searching for it, I want to reach out to 70 people. That's the goal that I will take, right? So there are four different mechanisms. Whenever you are running a new business, the first thing to start with is none of not CPA, not ROS. Start with, like, either you can start with a traffic goal for the first couple of days or first week to start generating some um, a- data, because Google want to get more data to start optimizing it. It doesn't start from the day one. If you put a target CPA, it will not give you the results. So instead of that, either you run a traffic optimization, or you can still run a target CPA but not for your purchase. You create an action called um, add to cart, or create an action called visit a page, visit a product page, right? That action can be optimized. It is top of funnel action, I would call it, versus bottom funnel will come after a couple of weeks. So the whole point I'm saying is, give enough data to Google to understand how your audience are behaving in your website. So for that, at least runs top of funnel optimization for the couple of weeks or a week, and then slowly move to target CPA. That becomes your core optimization for the first few months, and then slowly move to target ROIs when you have enough data, when you have enough optimizations ready in place, and when you're confident that I can, these keywords are already working, so I'll only use these keywords for target ROIs, versus I'll only use these keywords for target CPA, right? So start with but top funnel even optimizations, and then slowly move to target CPA optimizations in your first, when you're for your new businesses. Okay, moving next. What bidding mechanisms? Yeah, so these are the four different bidding mechanisms. Moving next is how to write uh, copies, right? What are the best practices of copies today? What is acceptable by Google, and what are the best practices? So there is, in Google search ad, there is only one format available today. There were many formats available in the past, called extended headlines and all of that. Everything has been moved away. There's something called responsive search ad, it's called as RSA, which is the only option. RSA is nothing. It consists of multiple headlines, multiple descriptions to create a one, and Google will automatically create one combination to create an ad, right? So you can't control what headline to show, what description to show, but you can still control, but can't control 100% of it. So this is to ensure better user experience and also better conversion, because otherwise you are just defining one particular ad copy, and you'll have to keep on generating multiple ad copies to see what works. Instead, you have a lot more options. You can put about 10 to 10 or 10 of headlines plus 10 of descriptions to kind of, Google itself can automatically find what's the right sort of combination, right? So to keep walking through, copies will be automatically combined. Adding more assets increase your chances of better performance, so keep on adding. So if Google is asking 10 headlines, please ensure give the 10 headlines, don't leave it up to 3 or 4, which will lead to poor performance. Your ad may show up to 3 headlines and 2 descriptions. Even if you give how many, like all the headlines and all the descriptions, it will max to max show 3 headline and a 2 description combination. That's the end of the ad will look like, right? So it's recommended to have one RSA per ad group. And whenever you create this responsive search ads, in the top you will see what is the ad strength. So ensure that your ad strength is always good and excellent. Otherwise, it will never perform. So please ensure that, and don't create more than 3 RSA. You can't create more than 3 RSA. That is more than enough. Keep on learning and experimenting with different headlines instead of creating more and more. Um, or if you have a mandatory that, okay, I want this headline to be always on my ads, then you can try to keep it in the headline 1 and 2 position. And also you can pin the headlines, so that it will try to, again, it's not 100% all the time, but 80-90% it always try to show that headlines. If you think that this particular term I want to always show in my ad, versus others can be a combination of it, right? So please spend your time to find what's the right combination. You have to, it has to make meaning for you, because if I read it in this combination, will it make sense for the customer? If I read it in another combination, will it make sense for the customer? Please do a cross check of that few times, and then decide, is this headlines and description make sense for to go and launch it, right? So these are some of the technical aspects of it. And just for an example, this is what the ad look like. The first part of the ad is called RSA ads, which includes headlines and description. The second part is the extension, which is the ones which are shown in the screenshot is just the uh, site link extension, but there are many other site link extension available. But this is what available in the current. So just from the screenshot that I've taken, this is the site link extension. Uh, uh, Moving on, some of the best practices on RSA ads, right? So one thing is, keep it always focus on your user. Who is the user? Keep it always focus on that. But very important thing is, like we discussed in the beginning, we categorize the keywords into brand, non-brand, commercial, etc. Within commercial, we'll further divide into different groups. When you create campaigns, that particular commercial keywords will further divide into, say for example, healthy snack bar. Health would be one category, protein bar would be one category, right? So you have to group your keywords tightly themed by two different groups, and for each ad groups, create ad copies, that RSA ads, which are relevant for that particular keywords. For example, in protein bar category, try to include that protein bar as a keyword. Try to include a relevant meaning of that protein bar, so that enhances your conversion a lot, right? Versus, I've seen a lot of folks just come up with the 10 headlines and use it across all the kind of campaigns, all the kind of ad groups. That is the worst thing to use, right? Have to spend time, and Google is very efficient and to give you the recommendations, but keep it very specific to your campaign, keep it very specific to your ad group, which are matches to your keywords, right? So about generic, any generic language, try to keep very specific call to actions like buy now and sign up. Keep a check on your ad strength. um, One is a second third, the very important thing is write and also test it out on your devices. If mobile versus desktop, is it rendering properly? Am I able to, like, mobile people, once you scroll down, you will not see anything, right? So my headline, does it make sense in mobile versus desktop? Please keep a check on that. Do that check before you launch the ad. um, Try to write varying length is of 30-35 characters, but try to see, always it is good to write the longer ones, but short term also works sometime. So keep experimenting with both short term and long term headlines, and write as many as unique headlines. Please ensure don't miss out using cycling extensions. The moment you use any extension, cycling is very important. If you don't use extension, your CTR will go 10x below, right? So please always use extensions, which is very important, which will take up the entire search. A lot of real estate you will get end of the day, like I showed here. If you don't use the sideline extension, your ad will be very small. If you use, a lot of real estate getting covered in the Google search, your competition will come down below this. If you don't use it, the competition will come above, like closer to it. Like, it is basically how good I am taking the real estate which is available to me. All right. So these are the best practices. Please keep a note of this. Um, Finally, we'll also give you it's a very large topic, but I'll still just touch upon and how, what are the best practices on landing pages. Ensure, so the same keyword that we talked about, for example, if there is a campaign on healthy snack bar, under that if there is a protein bar keyword category, please ensure your messaging matches on landing page as well, right? Because Google looks at your landing page content and define a quality score to it. It said, okay, if landing page is poor, the user experience is poor, or the keywords or the content used in landing page is not matching with your keywords and ads, it will not perform it. And so always ensure there is a messaging matches with your ads. Use clear and compelling ad copies in your landing page. Keep the call to action above the fold. This is the first, in mobile, especially the first fold is the only place that you get click. So don't let the users go down in the page to find that call to action, but keep it in the first fold itself. Start including a lot of social proofs in your landing pages say have so much, so many of purchases. Any ratings, reviews, all will help you to build more authenticity. Like I mentioned, for messaging, design for the right device. Mobile first is very important. And test and update your landing pages. Keep on updating your landing pages. If you don't have any website, or if you are not using, if you have difficulty in creating a website using a developer, consider using templates, which is available on multiple CMS, be it WordPress or anything. This is an example of Ankur Warik, who created a payment pages, a very simple template user using Razorpay payment pages. Just to have to fill out a few text and a form. You can easily, this can be created in 5 to 10 minutes, a landing page, and you can start collecting your payments. You can also start incorporating all your Facebook ads, Google ads tracking mechanism, and take the users to the landing page. So as simple as that, right? So very clean and neat, easily created. Consider this if you have not have a website. Yeah, and I'll finally move into some core 7 tips which I want to take away from. Please ensure that you bid on brand keywords, even if you're big, small, anything. Don't lose your brand keywords. Most of the businesses I see think that this is my keywords, it will come organically. I will not bid on it. And if you don't bid on it, your competition will take away. Right? So ensure that you bid on it. It is very cost effective, less CPC, and it will get higher conversions, better conversions, high intent. Make use of your smart bidding. We talked about target CPA, we talked about target ROIS. These are automatic smart bidding systems. As soon as you define a conversion and just tell the system that, bid for target, bid for this particular goal, and this is the target CPA that I can aim for. I can pay 100 rupees for getting one purchase. Define that in your campaign, and it calls smart. It will automatically find users who are affordable for you, right? So please make use of smart bidding. Manual bidding is gone away. Olden days, it never work. It's very difficult to optimize, very high resources required to manage that, and Google is not user friendly to do the manual optimization. So 100% of your campaign should be smart bidding. Mobile first campaigns, please always have design your campaigns, messages, everything in mobile first than desktop first. Make A/B testing a habit. Very, very important process. Be it budget, messaging, keywords. Keep on looking at your campaigns. Keep on doing A/B test on all of these, and keep learning and making improve incrementals. A regular search query analysis. We talked about certain keywords that will implemented on in your campaigns. Once you start running campaigns, you will also get an option to look at what are the actual queries that which match to that keywords, right? Keep on looking at that so that you identify two things. One is, what are my keywords which are performing better? What are the keywords or search terms which are not performing or irrelevant for me? All the irrelevant ones you can negate it. The relevant one you can continue doing it, or you can add into another campaign which you think that this is super relevant for me. And the negative keywords, please prevent any wasted spend. There's a lot of uh, time we miss out keywords terms which are spending unnecessarily, which are not giving any value. Keep putting into your negatives, and use extensions. It gives you 5x, minimum 5x better CTRs if you don't use extensions. Like, extensions can be site link extensions, call out extensions, it can be promotions. Please spend more time on this. It's nothing, it's just more of a talk. You can promote more of your offers, talk more about your other product and services apart from the headlines and descriptions available. So these are different extensions of your ads itself, nothing rocket science, but please always use them. Cool. So these are the 7 tips which you need to keep in your mind when you run your campaigns. Uh, with that, I think we have reached to the end of the presentation. I will move on to questions if there are, and I'll open up the questions with the mic itself. Uh, yes, please go ahead and ask the questions. I'll start taking answers. Well, I think instead of chat, you can start asking questions in your just enable your mic. Please go ahead and ask any questions if you have. Sunil, you're asking, can you put light little on target audience? Sure. So Can you come on? Can you unmute and speak yourself? What do you like? Can you give me a little elaborate on what your question? What do you mean by target audience? Like, are you talking about the initial slide that we talked about defining your target audience? I'm good. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, so this Sunil, this is primarily on Facebook, Google Ads, etc. This is on search target audience is defined through your keywords itself. There isn't any other mechanism apart from you can still create some target audience and add into your search accounts to see the observation of what kind of people are responding. But to answer your question, this is largely within the display ecosystem. I think I'll keep limiting this conversation to search in this call, but happy if you think I mean, please fill in this form if you think there is this case that you want me to solve. We can have a separate one-on-one conversation on the targeting audience which you want to solve it on other platforms, which I can talk a bit more about it, which is itself is a large topic. Yeah. So I just shared a form here. You can fill it up. This case, I'll we can take it up offline. Any other queries, questions, any other things that you want to answer? Happy to do that. We have another 2 3 minutes to. Hey Manoj, hi. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so now I understand your question. You're talking about the actual sales happening in the backend, right? Two things like for the actual sales to happen for coming from Google AdWords, you should use. So if you should use both Google AdWords, that will help the Google AdWords optimize itself. But if you want to have a unified reporting, like for example, I'm sure you'll not just run only Google Ads, right? You'll also run Facebook ads, you'll also run something else, etc. Right? And it depends upon if you're a website company or app company. If you're an app company, then you should definitely use an apps layer, which can be one central place where you get all the channels, right? Otherwise, like, Google will use a self-attributing platform, which all the sales will be attributed to that. Some of them, not all. Versus Facebook will also be attributing its own numbers and it will be duplicating. Like you will see 100 sales, but end of the day you will have only 50 sales, right? So for that, you should have a central system like an apps layer. If it is in website, then you can build UTM based platforms through Tableau, Looker, or uh, uh, any data platform, CDP platforms which we can implement in the backend, which can track all this data and put it in one place, right? So you need to have a third party platform if you are using multiple things. For example, think of a situation, Manoj, if you are using a Shopify itself will track all these things in their backend. But the moment you scale up, you still require another CDP platform because Shopify can't give you a lot of information apart from just few channel sources. Yeah. Google search can be it will get tracked, but the primary objective of Google search campaign is to drive website visit, right? So it will not get it will it what absolute track is. it will still track and give you how many installs you got if you have an app. It will not tell you how many website visits. So for website, you need to have a different tracking mechanism, a separate data platform that track website visits versus the App Store will track only app launches. Cool. I hope. Hey Ashri, hi. Good to see you. Good, good. See, it has to be like, and if for brand campaigns, it has to be at least 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. But your commercial keywords should be in the range of 7 to 8. It should not go beyond that. And your competition will never be in the range of 7 to 10. It will be always in the 5 to 6 types, right? So I always try to achieve at least an 8 quality score. Uh, but I would suggest not spending a lot of time on looking at how can I improve the quality score. Try to spend more time on how can I make it more relevant to, like, so the quality score itself has kind of moved away. Try to look at more from an ad strength perspective. Try to look more from a right keyword selection, negative selection, negative keywords, etc. Keep it user friendly, which will automatically works in terms of quality score. Otherwise, a lot of keywords will never be able to move into a 10 quality score in ever. Correct. Awesome. I don't think any more questions. If there are any, let me know. Otherwise, I think sure. Go ahead. Yes, it is still relevant. Performance Max um, will obviously will cover some part of your searches, but more and more when you start scaling up, and you don't have any control over here in any of your keywords, right? And what happens is it will also at the moment you start scaling up performance, your 60 to 70 percentage of the impression will go to YouTube, display network, or another networks, right? uh, and you have zero control over what you're showing on search ads, right? What keywords are getting triggered. On the same way, you can also have you can talk to your Google partners and see if you can negate your brand terms and some sort of keywords from your performance search, so that you will control that in your search campaigns and continue to scale up through PMax. PMax is meant to be also looked at from a perspective that I can't manually manage anything on YouTube or display or any other display network. Hence, PMax comes, right. Search will still have a limitations on PMax. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much. Please fill out the feedback form, and if there are any keys that you want me to solve, happy to have take it offline later stages. And thank you so much for this session. And do share your feedback. It'll be helpful for me to build the rest of the sessions accordingly. Thank you so much, everyone.